Imagine a world where power is measured not just in armies or technology, but in oil. Donald Trump is determined to claim Venezuela's black gold. But there's a problem. Venezuela's oil has long flowed to China, and China is no longer the same. The country is racing toward electric vehicles and clean energy. Its hunger for oil is fading fast. So who will buy Venezuela's oil tomorrow? And what does this tell us about global power? About influence? About the clash between old energy and the new world? This is more than politics. It is a story of economies, ambition, and survival. Stay with me, because what happens here will reshape how you see energy, power, and the future. Before we explore the mechanics, we need to understand the history that brought us here. The central question is simple. Who controls energy controls influence. Donald Trump wants the United States to dominate Venezuela's oil. But the reality is more complex. China has been Venezuela's largest customer for years. Its refineries rely on that supply, yet China is changing. Electric vehicles are booming, renewables are expanding at unprecedented speed, the country's oil appetite is shrinking. This shift exposes a deeper tension. The U.S. aims to revive Venezuela's oil infrastructure. Military operations and political pressure are tools in this effort. But China can source oil elsewhere. Russia, Iran, other partners stand ready. The long-term trajectory is clear. China is moving toward energy independence. The United States is clinging to fossil fuels abroad. This is not just about oil. It is about global strategy, economic leverage, and who will shape the energy future. Understanding this tension is crucial before we explore the historical context behind it. To understand today, we must look back. Venezuela's oil wealth has defined its history. For decades, oil shaped its economy and politics. China entered as a major partner during Venezuela's economic struggles. Loans, infrastructure deals, and steady demand created a bond. The U.S. has long sought influence over Latin America's resources. Yet the energy landscape has shifted. China's rapid adoption of electric vehicles is unprecedented. The transportation sector, once the largest oil consumer, is shrinking. Domestic EV sales now dominate the market. Chinese companies export their vehicles worldwide. Meanwhile, the U.S. doubles down on fossil fuels. Political and military maneuvers aim to secure foreign oil. But history shows that energy power is not static. Cycles of demand, technological change, and geopolitical tension constantly reshape the market. Venezuela sits at the crossroads of this shift. Its reliance on China meets America's ambitions. The stage is set for a confrontation that will reveal deeper truths about global energy, influence, and the future of oil. Understanding this history is key before we witness the first crisis erupt. Then the first crisis hit. Trump announced plans for U.S. companies to revitalize Venezuela's oil. Military operations loomed in the background. The world watched. China remained calm. It had alternatives: Russia, Iran, other partners. The crisis exposed a stark reality. Venezuela needs China more than China needs Venezuela. Any disruption could slash Venezuelan oil revenues. But China could pivot. The global oil market would not stop. This was not just about economics. It was a signal, a demonstration of America's willingness to use force for energy dominance. And yet, it could backfire. China accelerated its clean energy plans. EV adoption soared. Solar, wind, nuclear, all expanding rapidly. The crisis showed one thing clearly. The world is shifting. Old power structures are under pressure. New players emerge. You can see it in every barrel that isn't sold, every EV on the road. Stay alert, because the deeper mechanisms behind this crisis will reveal even more about global energy and influence. Beneath the crisis lies the hidden mechanism. It is a web of supply, demand, and strategy. Venezuela relies on a single buyer, China. China, in turn, is pivoting away from oil. This creates tension that few fully grasp. The US can push for exclusive oil deals. It can apply pressure, but China can source oil from elsewhere. Russia, Iran, other sanctioned barrels. The global oil market is flexible, adaptive. Meanwhile, China's energy strategy is deliberate. EVs dominate the roads, renewables expand rapidly, nuclear and fusion projects grow. The goal is clear: independence. Control your energy, and you control your destiny. The mechanism is simple yet profound. Military might cannot rewrite these underlying trends. Geopolitics meets technology. Economics meets climate. Every intervention in Venezuela is a symbolic strike, but the deeper forces, innovation, market adaptation, energy transition, remain untouched. And as the next crisis unfolds, these forces will dictate who truly holds power in the new energy world. Then came the second crisis. The Trump administration openly told Venezuela to cut ties with China, Iran, Russia, and Cuba. It demanded exclusive partnerships with the United States. Markets trembled. Venezuelan oil exports risked collapse. China responded calmly. Its refineries could pivot. Russia and Iran stood ready to fill the gap. The crisis revealed a deeper tension. China's energy independence is non-negotiable. Its EV revolution, renewable expansion, and nuclear projects are accelerating. Every barrel Venezuela loses to the US can be replaced elsewhere. Yet, for Venezuela, the stakes are existential. Its economy teeters on the edge. Revenue from oil is vital. The crisis became more than politics. It became a mirror of global energy conflict. Old powers seeking control face new realities. Technology, markets, and strategic independence shape the outcome. And for you, watching this unfold, the question is clear. How will these forces affect the lives of ordinary people, the global market, and the future of energy? Understanding that will lead us to the next layer, the human impact. For the people of Venezuela, the stakes are real. Every disruption in oil flows means shortages, uncertainty, and hardship. Jobs disappear, prices rise, families feel the weight of geopolitics on their daily lives. Imagine living in a country where the world's powers clash over your resources. You are caught in the middle. Access to energy, transportation, and basic goods is at risk. And yet, life goes on. Communities adapt, innovate, and survive. But the tension is palpable. The US seeks dominance. China pursues independence. Venezuelans face the consequences. This is not an abstract debate. It is human reality. The crisis shapes hopes, dreams, and futures. You can see the cost of global ambition in every street, every home, every family. Remember this, because understanding human impact is the key to grasping the full scope of this conflict. And it sets the stage for the next layer, the global ripple effects. The consequences extend far beyond Venezuela. Global markets watch every move. Oil prices fluctuate. Investors react. Nations calculate risk. China's pivot to clean energy shifts the balance. The US push for Venezuelan oil signals old world thinking. Allies take note. Competitors adjust. Every action sends ripples across continents. Energy security becomes a geopolitical chessboard. Countries reassess alliances. Dependence on foreign oil becomes a liability. Renewable energy and electric vehicles emerge as tools of power. The world is watching Venezuela as a case study. Who controls energy, controls influence. Every barrel diverted, every EV adopted, reshapes global strategy. This is not a regional conflict. It is a lens on global transitions. The stakes are high, the players vast, and the consequences lasting. And as we look ahead, the future unfolds in three paths. Understanding these scenarios will reveal the true trajectory of energy and power. Looking ahead, three futures emerge. The first is the optimistic path. China accelerates clean energy, EVs dominate globally, and nations reduce dependence on fossil fuels. Venezuela adapts, diversifies, and stabilizes its economy. Energy becomes a tool of innovation, not conflict. The second is the middle path. China continues its transition, but oil demand persists in petrochemicals and aviation. The US maintains influence in Venezuela, but tensions simmer. Global energy markets remain volatile. Some nations benefit, others struggle. The third is the pessimistic path. Conflict escalates. Venezuela collapses under pressure. Oil markets spike and crash. Energy insecurity drives geopolitical crises. Dependence on fossil fuels leaves nations exposed. These scenarios reveal one truth. Energy is power, but power alone cannot dictate outcomes. Technology, markets, and policy will shape who thrives. The world is interconnected, fragile, and fast-moving. Choices today echo tomorrow. And for you, watching this unfold, the question is urgent: which path will the world take? Before we conclude, we must reflect on the insight these patterns reveal and the lessons that demand action. The story of Venezuela, China, and the United States teaches a simple truth. Energy is not just about fuel. It is about power, influence, and the future we choose. Old strategies collide with new realities. Military might cannot dictate markets. Fossil fuels cannot slow the rise of renewables. China is racing toward energy independence. The US is clinging to the past. Venezuelans feel the consequences of this global struggle every day. For the rest of the world, the lesson is clear. Innovation, adaptation, and foresight matter more than dominance. Your world is being reshaped by forces you may not see. Every EV, every solar panel, every policy choice shifts the balance. Watch closely. Learn, question what you think you know. And remember, the next chapter is already being written. Stay informed, stay engaged, because the future belongs to those who understand it and act.